Hey everyone! Before I continue the story, I would like to say how thankful I am for your support. It really means a lot to me. These videos take a really long time to make, so thank you very much. But with that said, let's get to it! Do you want to become an important member of this channel? Then you should join our Discord server. Here you can climb the Roman Senate and become an important member of our community. You will be able to vote on everything from army rosters in a campaign to YouTube content and schedules. All roles are based on the Roman Cursus Honorum, except for the unique and powerful Lawkeeper role. The first 50 people joining will become patricians and thereby be able to run for office and vote. But with that said, let's start the video. So you wanna know how we destroyed Iberia? Well, in that case, you better find your favorite beverage, because this is about to get interesting. You see, some might call it foolish, others might call it incredibly naive. I mean, to march an entire legion all the way over to Iberia. I mean, it has never been done before. But quote me on this, you can't be foolish if you prepare for every possible outcome. So I ordered Rufus, my right-hand man, to summon every available soldier in the vicinity to get ready. We will leave a small garrison behind to pacify the region, but after that I put on my caligae and made ready for the long march ahead. While outside of Massalia, a scout returned. She warned us about potential attacks from barbarians in the region. We tried to bargain with them, but our diplomats, they never returned. And in most circumstances, this would not go unpunished. But as we already was on a mission for revenge, we couldn't shift our focus now. We had to move on. Their attacks were nothing more than small raids on our supplies, but we still lost almost 300 men because of it. I'm telling you, we were lucky. On our way we bypassed one of the largest settlements in the area. They were being attacked by another tribe, and by the looks of it, they were merciless. If these guys didn't have a massive hatred for one another, they would have attacked us. And if that was so, we might not have made it. At long last, we finally found their first Carthaginian town. A small fishing village called Arse. But they had a large army nearby ready to protect it, so it would be very hard to enter. So we laid an ambush at a bridge near the town. It was here we learned about yet another army protecting this so-called bridge. This was gonna get tough. But they never attacked us. Maybe they weren't aware of our position, or maybe they just didn't have the manpower to deal with our forces. But we hoped for the former, So I sent Rufus out to find a few more mercenaries, while I made ready for battle. With our combined forces, they did not dare stand against us. The cowards ran all the way back to the other side of the town, giving us full access to assault Arse. When all of our forces were accounted for and ready, I would make the attack, with Rufus close behind me. We formed up in our triplets Achilles formation with our mercenary cavalry on the right and Rufus close behind. The cavalry commander spotted an unguarded Carthaginian general and pursued him, in hopes of taking him out. They succeeded, but now the entire army was running after them for revenge, so they routed behind the legion. It was at this point the townsfolk got eliminated while they tried to escape. With the enemy moving closer at swift speed, Legio 3 was ready to intercept them, with Legio 1 at the flank and the veteran units going in to occupy the town square. With our men in position, the real fight was about to begin. With a massive charge from all sides, we destroyed the last remaining Carthaginians. Minerva must have blessed our strategy, as we took fewer casualties here than by the barbarians' onslaught from our travels. With the occupation of Arse, we now could establish a foothold from where we would lead our invasion of Hispania. In Arse, we actually found a map showing every town the Carthaginians were influencing, and we had to take them out. But our men were tired, so we stayed in the town for a few weeks, as well as there was a large Carthaginian army just outside our border, waiting to attack us. At this point, emissaries from the Iberian tribes showed up. They congratulated us on our victory against Carthage and insisted on helping getting rid of them completely. But when I signed these deals, I knew they were only temporary, as that they would turn on us as soon as Carthage was gone. But that is a problem for the future. One night, our spy told us the grand army of Carthage had returned to Mastia, giving us plenty of time to establish a good strategy. The plan was simple. Once again, we would lay an ambush and make Rufus be the bait. He was not fond of the idea, but I told him that I have made a sacrifice to Minerva and Mars, which made him reluctantly agree. But by saying to him that Fortuna favors the bold, he was ready. And luckily it was so, as we caught the Carthaginian general off guard before a river crossing. We were about to fight again. I was positioned at the top of the hill behind the Principes. On the other side were the Hastati, and to the west of them were the Triarii. The cavalry would block the road. This way we would completely envelop the enemy, and there was no escape. With the rear guard destroyed, the sacred band was soon to follow. Almost everyone were killed. The gods called it a heroic victory, but all I could think of was when I would shove it all in the face of Licinius. Oh, it will be glorious. Whatever he was doing in Italy, it would be nowhere near as genius as what I'm doing here. Especially after our victory here. My scouts quickly found the few who escaped the ambush. They had called for help from Mastia, but we easily took them out as well. The city was well fortified, but one of my centurions got an idea. He, alongside some of his veterans, would put on Carthaginian armor, walk inside the city, and assassinate the guards. By doing this, I would be able to walk inside the town and occupy it in the name of Rome. This centurion who did this mission was later promoted and became a general of his own army. How proud I am for that young man Scipio. The letter was found, and through my translator, I learned that most of the Carthaginian fleets were in Sicily. So Licinius must be doing something right after all. This gave us the perfect time to launch an attack on the last two targets. Rufus would travel out to the islands nearby with Legio III, which he had no trouble in doing, while I marched south towards the gates of Hercules. Scipio would stay and guard the city. After the occupation of the town, we had finally thrown Carthage out of Iberia. It was at this point we got news from Rome. A new reform has been passed, allowing men to use the gladius sword. As true Romans, we implemented this in our army, although some of the more experienced men decided to keep their spears. At this point, we prepared our army to move into Africa. But we had a large problem. Tingis, a massive walled settlement, guarded the crossing. If we had to enter Africa, we had to go through there. We sadly didn't have the manpower on our own, so we recruited local Iberians to our army. One of the war chiefs told us about how some of the units had specialized themselves in certain areas of combat. So we recruited 2 Baroque slingers who even were famous among the plebeians in Rome, and 2 Iberian cavalrymen. And as our infantry also was lacking in numbers, we also bought some of the Scutari. They are very light-footed and much more flexible than our heavy infantry. After that, we decided instead of crossing at Tingis, we would sail to Siga, completely bypassing their walls. It was at this point a small Carthaginian ship came into view. One of their diplomats came aboard my ship, and as we already had lost so many men, we decided to make peace. They did give us 4,000 denarii in compensation for starting the war.
I never thought your kind capable of atrocities, but here we are.
Now there was nothing else to do but leaving the legions in the hands of Rufus, while I, of course, had to return back here to Rome. This is nonsense, Papus. There is no way you did all of that. Do you really think we would believe your stories? You speak as if you were Jupiter himself. The entire Senate went dead quiet after Licinius' outrage. You don't believe me? I'm an esteemed senator. How dare you accuse me of lying? How can we trust you, Papus? You didn't even bring any of your men back to confirm your story. My men are in Iberia. I'm planning on returning to them after this idiotic discussion. It was clear to everyone present that Licinius had misspoken. His lust for glory had blinded him. Listen to me, senators. If you make me consul, I will conquer the rest of Hispania for the glory of Rome. Licinius, who was furious and ashamed of himself, traveled to Greece. Trouble was growing, with the Spartans becoming even more aggressive than ever before. Before we can see what happened over there, we need to stay with Papus, as he returned to Legio I and prepared his army to a conquest of Hispania.
The balance has shifted. Our land is under siege. A great horde of demons, terrible and merciless, advances towards our homes, destroying everything in its path. Our allies turn against us. Their people broken.